Hi, I'm Nikki Theriault here at Gallery 78 with artist Cliff Turner at his exhibition opening called Technicolor. So, Cliff, you have a lot of artists that you are influenced by, including Tom Wesselman, Rosenquist, Mimo, and Rotella. So how long have you been influenced by them?
Yeah, and that's right. So James Rosenquist, Mimo Rotella, and Tom Wesselman, all around the same period of time. So we're talking about 60s American art, right? And you kind of borrow little bits from each of them. And all of them kind of sort of come together in the idea of a collaged realism. So Mimo Rotella was very different. You know, he'd tear away bits of posters, so you had kind of like these images showing up. He didn't do too much with them, except just the act of tearing away. And so James Rosenquist combined very dissimilar images. A lot of people remember one image of his in particular where you had Kennedy mixed in with a cheesecake and a car tire or something like that, right? So you see a lot of this work in New York. And then of course you have James Rosenquist, who was initially a billboard painter, very large, or actually I mentioned it, large scale work. But then you have Tom Wesselman, a lot of psychosexual kind of stuff going on, like, you know, a little bit deviant, but also just the idea of, you know, you see big red lips, cigarettes, pop culture, all kind of superimposed, sometimes really out of scale, size, and so on. So each of these have this. This is from Mimo Rotella, where you've got kind of like that tearing aspect, where you've got images kind of layered up on one another. Kind of creates a little bit of a dreamscape. So, so all of these sort of memories around the TV show Wonder Woman, perhaps that Saturday morning breakfast, perhaps that green TV that was in your room, perhaps that Tang, you know, Tang, you're probably too young to remember Tang, but Tang, big thing. But then at the same time, even amongst all this idealism, you've kind of got this this undercurrent of tension, which came out of the Cold War. So you've got Reagan, you've got the spending on defense, and anyone who knows me knows I'm slightly to the left, a little to the left. And so you know, you can't help but include some of these things in. You know, that all wasn't so ideal, that there was this undercurrent of tension. So that's that. And the same thing happens over here with Superman, where you've got, again, that tearing, that Mimo Rotella tearing, but then underneath you've got this sort of combined imagery. And in this case, I asked my wife, what do you remember about Superman? So she remembers Green Jump, Charleston Shooting, right off the bat, she's naming these things. And Phantom. And of course I threw in the hamburger there because they must have been hamburgers in 78. So that's fine. So all of those kind of collage again. And it just so happens you wind up with that wonderful idea where Superman, very passive, waiting for action. At the same time, you kind of get a hint of danger because that green jello just happens to be the same color as kryptonite. So you kind of got that little bit going on there. In each case, you've got these kind of superheroes just waiting for action. You know, they're in a passive state. So that's where those come from. And those three artists are readily seen in this kind of image, more so than any of the others in the show.
Yeah. Okay, so now let's walk over here. Let's see.
I like shiny things, nothing more to say about that. Shiny.
What about this one? Is there a little story linked to this painting?
Yeah, absolutely. So the title is kind of crazy. Everybody doesn't quite know right off the bat. A lot of people have heard the story, but they don't quite remember it. But it's called Looking for Zeuxis. And there's a story in ancient Greece where Zeuxis, a realist painter, painted so beautifully and so realist that the birds came down and actually pecked at the grapes. So he competed with another artist. Basically, he was the one who won because he produced the most realistic painting, and it was determined to be the most realistic because the birds are actually fooled by it. Well, being a little bit self-deprecating, not much, but a little, I included the birds in a painting of grapes and a bounty and bread and oranges, all very realistically rendered to a certain point, but not enough. So it's not enough. These birds obviously are there, moderately interested, not really. Nothing's pecking at anything, and they seem actually almost, in my mind, a little bit disappointed with how this was rendered. So maybe that's me just thinking there's always something better to be done, something more to be done. And so it's called Looking for Zeuxis. These birds are there, but clearly I'm not quite there yet. In my mind, anyway. All right? Okay.